Rain poured down on the Mexico soundcheck stage on day 3, as if to test the limits of anyone who stood on it. But it was in the midst of that downpour that an unexpected moment emerged, one that caused thousands of ARMY to fall silent, then erupt in cheers. In less than 30 seconds, the atmosphere changed completely. V stepped forward, calm and unwavering, as if the rain wasn't a distraction, but the stage itself. Raindrops dripped from his hair, soaking every inch of his clothing. Yet his steps remained steady. His gaze was sharp, full of charisma. The red microphone in his hand was the only color that stood out amidst the darkness and the pouring rain. And in that moment, everyone knew this wasn't just another soundcheck. Taehyung walked across the stage like a model on a world-class runway. Every step was measured. Every movement seemed to tell a story. The rain, usually considered a hindrance, instead became a dramatic element that enhanced his aura. ARMY couldn't take their eyes off him, and cameras continued to capture every second of the magic. Behind him, the other members stood side by side. J-Hope, Jin, Suga, RM, Jimin, and Jungkook wore matching black raincoats. They didn't move much, but their presence was powerful, like a solid foundation supporting the moment unfolding before their eyes. But the main focus of the night was clearly V. He wasn't just walking, he owned the stage. The heavy rain that soaked the floor didn't make him slip or hesitate. Instead, he seemed more alive, more daring, as if every drop of water gave him added energy. The ARMY's cheers grew louder when he picked up the microphone, not to speak at length, but just enough to signal that he was enjoying the moment. There was no complaint, no sign of discomfort, just a true performer at one with the situation. On the other side of the stage, Jungkook watched with an expression that was hard to hide. There was awe in his eyes. It was as if he couldn't believe how V could be so relaxed in such extreme conditions. His small smile was proof. Even his fellow members were captivated. Jimin laughed occasionally, perhaps not believing what he was seeing. RM nodded slowly, as if acknowledging the magnitude of the moment. Suga stood still, but his eyes followed V's every move. Jin and J-Hope glanced at each other, as if silently saying, "This is amazing." And indeed, it was amazing, because not everyone can keep performing at their best when the conditions are unfavorable. But BTS isn't everyone. They're a group that has proven time and time again that their dedication is unwavering. The rain intensified, but neither of them left the stage. Their black raincoats began to soak, sticking to their bodies, but they remained there, together. For ARMY. For a moment that will never be repeated the same way. V walked again, this time closer to the edge of the stage. He looked out at the audience, giving a faint smile that made the screams even more frenzied. No words were needed. His mere presence was enough to make the night unforgettable. The stage lights reflected off the puddles, creating a visual effect almost like a movie scene. And amidst it all, V remained the center of attention, an artist who knows how to turn any situation into something magical. There was no elaborate choreography, no over-the-top special effects. Just rain, light, and a performer who knew how to harness it all. That simplicity was precisely what made this moment so powerful. The other members finally began to move a little, moving closer, as if wanting to share the same energy. They weren't trying to outshine V's moment, but rather complement it. This wasn't about one person, but about 7 individuals supporting each other. Still, the night had one main highlight, and everyone knew who it was. Even after V stopped walking, the aura he created still hung in the air. It was as if the stage wasn't ready to return to normal. ARMY continued to cheer, no matter how heavy the rain became. For them, this wasn't just a sound check. It was an experience, a living proof that BTS always gives their all, even when conditions aren't ideal. No one complained. No one backed down. Quite the contrary, they emerged stronger, more alive. It was as if the rain was just a small challenge compared to the love they have for their fans. The moment spread quickly. Photos, videos, and stories of V in the rain became a hot topic everywhere. Many called it iconic. Many also said this was one of the best moments of their trip. And perhaps they were right. Because it's not every day we see someone so comfortable in chaos, so calm in a storm. V didn't fight the rain. He embraced it. And that's precisely where his beauty lies. When the night ended, the rain may have continued to fall. But one thing was certain. The moment was etched in stone. Not just on camera, but in the hearts of everyone who witnessed it. A reminder that BTS, no matter the circumstances, will always give their best. And amidst it all, one image remained strong. A man with a red microphone, walking in the rain, fearless, making history in his own way. Even after his final steps had stopped, the stage still vibrated with the energy he left behind. It was as if the persistent rain was a silent witness to something greater than a mere performance. V didn't just walk on stage that night. He created a moment that will live long in the memories of anyone who saw it. Some ARMY were seen crying, not out of sadness, but out of awe. There was a mixture of emotions that were hard to describe, a mix of pride, emotion, and awe. They came to see their idol, but what they received was so much more, an experience that felt so real and so close to their hearts. The BTS members slowly gathered closer, standing together in the same rain. No one tried to escape, no one sought additional protection. They chose to remain there, sharing the moment with their fans, as if to convey that this togetherness was more important than any inconvenience. And ultimately, that's what made that night so special. Not just the rain, not just V's stunning performance, but the sincerity that radiated from every second they spent on stage. A night that proved that for BTS and ARMY, even a storm cannot separate the bond that has been built so strongly.